Hey guys, a very warm welcome to Arihant Online Academy, and we are starting a new subject that is probability, right? For GATE exam, and probability is basically common subject for all GATE branches, including mechanical engineering, computer science, and IT, electronics, electrical, right? Civil engineering. So if you are from any branch of GATE, basically 2021 branches are there, right? So in each and every branch in the first session, that is in the first section of the general mathematics, probability is a very good chapter, and at least 2 to 3 marks questions, at least 2 to 3 marks questions you will get every year from this subject, right? So our goal is basically to cover this full marks. Our target is to cover, suppose they are asking from 5 marks, many times they can ask 2 marks 2 question, 1 marks 1 question. It depends completely on the level of the paper, who sets the paper, right? What are their basically concern about the paper. So our target is to score full marks from probability. So guys, we will try to discuss a lecture one by one, and it is the lecture first, in which we will try to discuss the very basics of the probability, which we will be in the need in taking out further session ahead, right? So basically I will try to explain you all the concepts with the examples, and I will also try to take previous year gate questions so that you can understand the topic very well, right? So without any delay, I just want to say that please subscribe the YouTube channel, so that in future also you will get important details and contents from our side, and we will also get motivated by your active participation with this channel, right? So let's just start. And you guys, if you have any kind of doubts in probability and in any subject of the computer science or mathematics, you can comment it out, right? And I will try to solve it as early as possible whenever I will see your doubts and queries, right? So let's just start. So random experiment, right? So the very first topic is random experiment. So what is random experiment? So random experiment is any experiment in which we know the set of its outcomes, but we don't know exactly that what output we will get after experiment. Means we know that the what can be the output of that experiment, but we can't know that what can be the exact output. For example, rolling a fair dice, it is one of the random experiment, right? So in rolling a fair dice, what can be the output? So output can be 1 2 3 4 5 6 if we are talking about fair dice. What does fair dice means? We are not talking about Shakuni's dice, right, in which output is fixed, right? We are talking about fair dice, in which if anybody can throw the dice, output is unexpected, right? So output can be 1 or it can be 2. If we are rolling it once, then it can be either 1, it can be either 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, but we don't know that exactly what can be the output after rolling a dice once. So it is one of the example of random experiment. The second one is tossing a fair coin. So tossing a fair coins means it can give us either head or tail as a output if we are tossing a fair coin once, but we don't know exactly that what could be the output. It can be either head or it can be either tail. In, for example, in cricket matches, right, before starting a match, both the captain with the umpires get with the process of tossing a fair coin, so that they can decide who will choose the decision of batting or bowling first. So on the basis of that decision, further process will be goes on, right? So tossing a fair coin is a random experiment, right, in which we know that either head or tail will come, but we don't know that exactly what can come after that experiment. Similarly, the third example is picking a specific color ball from a box. So suppose a box is there, which will consisted of some red balls, green balls, blue balls in that, right? And we need to pick a ball from that box. So we exactly know that either a red ball will be came out if we pick ball from that box, or a green ball may come out, or a blue ball may come out, but we exactly don't know that which color ball will come out after picking a ball from that box, right? So these are the examples of random experiment, right? So it is the very basics of probability. Then the next one is domain space or sample space or sample set. So what is sample space? Sample space, it is a very basic terminology of probability. So sample space, it is nothing but you can also call it as a domain space. You can also call it as a domain space, or you can also call it as a sample set. You can also call it as a sample set, right? So basically it is the complete set of outputs. For example, S1. S1 is basically sample space of rolling fair coin. We are taking S1 as a rolling fair coin. So what can be the expected output that may come from rolling a fair dice? It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5, or it can be 6. So this is the sample space for rolling a fair dice. Means the complete set of expected outputs, the complete set of outputs that may come, but we don't know exactly what can be the come, right? S2, suppose sample space of 2, that is tossing a fair coin. So what can be the sample space for tossing a coin? It may be head or it may be tail. If we are tossing a coin once, if we are tossing a coins twice, if we are tossing a coin, if we are tossing coin twice, then what can be the sample space? Sample state might be, it may be first headed, or head tail may come, or tail head may come, or tail tail may come, isn't it? So this is the sample space of tossing a fair coin twice. So I hope you are clear with the term sample space. Now the next one is event. The term event is there. So what is event? So event is nothing but basically it is a subset of sample space. It is a subset of sample space. So what is a subset of sample space? If we talk about this S1, if we talk about this S1 now, then event 1, it might be 1, 3, 5, means either 1 can be come out, either 3 can be come out, or 5 can be come out if we are rolling a fair dice. So even basically 1, 3 and 5, this set is a subset of S1, means all the elements which can be in the which can be in the sample space, right? So the subset of that sample space is called as event. Or E2, if we are talking about for this similar S1, that is for sample space S1, it may be 2, 4, or 6. So okay, so these are this is called as sample space 2. Means 2, 4 and 6, they are also part of this sample space. Okay, so this is also a event. So event is basically, what event is? Event is basically a subset of sample set. Subset of sample set is called as event. If we talk about E3, suppose we are talking about sample set about this tossing of fair coin. So E3 might be head only. So head only is there, right? So it is a event 3, means it is a subset of this sample set S2, head or tail. Okay. Now one more thing you need to understand here, that E1 intersection E2 is 5. If E1 intersection E2 is equals to 5, then they are called as mutually exclusive. What they called as? They can called as mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive events. Mutually exclusive events. What are mutually exclusive events? Let's get it with that. E1, suppose E1 is 1 comma 3 comma 5. Okay, so E1 is there, which consisted of 1 comma 3 comma 5 intersection E2. 2 comma 4 comma 6 e2. We need to talk about same sample space, right? We can't take e1 and e3 on comparison, because both are the subsets of different sample space. So we on doing such kind of operations like union or intersection, we need to talk about same sample space problems, right? Now E1 intersection E2 equals to 5 here. Why? Because if you will see here, neither element is common in E1 and E2, right? 1 3 5 here and 2 4 6. So basically no element is there in both events E1 and E2 which are common. That is why their intersection is 5. So these events are called as mutually exclusive events. So even intersection E2 equals to 5 is there, then we call this terminology as a mutually exclusive events. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you. Now there is a need to understand some one important definition from this lecture, and you can jotted it down with me, so that in further lecture when we will discuss the problems of the gate from probability, you will be very concisely understand the problems, right? So it is basic part of the probability basically. So I am writing it down. You can also write it for each event, for each event E. For each event E. Here we are representing event with E. For each event E in the sample space S, in the sample space S, we assign a number PE. We assign a number PE such that such that first, probability of any event should be either greater than or equals to 0 or less than or equals to 1. Means probability will exist between the range of 0 to 1. The second one is probability of all sample space should be 1. I will explain you, right? Just jotted it down currently. And the third one is for any sequence of events, for any sequence of events E1 comma E2 or dot 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 up to, suppose n events are there, right? So for any sequence of events that are mutually exclusive, that are mutually exclusive, a formula is there, that is P union of that events which are mutually exclusive equals to summation of that events. Okay, so let's explain it. I am explaining it now, right? So what definition is saying, for each event E in the sample space S, we assign a number PE such that probability should be between 0 to 1. Means suppose we are tossing a coin. If we are tossing a coin, then sample space should be either H or tail. So probability of head and probability of tail, they may be in the range of 0 to 1, right? There isn't any probability of any event that may go outside of 1 and 0, right? So probability of head will be in the range of 0 to 1, and probability of tail will also be in the range of 0 to 1. And you all know that if we are talking about tossing a coin once, then probability of head is 1 by 2 and probability of tail is 1 by 2. That is, these values are between the range of 0 to 1, and you all know why. Because two outcomes can be come, and we are talking about head, so total outcomes will be put at right? Here numerator side and on the denominator side the total sample space we are putting, right? We will discuss further, no problem. So here our concern is on these points. So I hope the first point is clear to you. The second one is probability of complete sample space should be 1. What does it mean? Means suppose a sample space is head and tail, so 1 by 2 probability of head plus probability of tail, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, that is 1. So probability of complete sample space should be 1. You can also understand with the example of rolling a fair dice. If we are rolling a fair dice, okay, if we are rolling a fair dice, then sample space should be either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Okay, so probability of all this sample space, that is probability of 1 is 1 by 6, probability of occurring 2 is 1 by 6, probability of occurring 3 is 1 by 6, probability of occurring 4 is 1 by 6, probability of occurring 5 is 1 by 6, and probability of occurring 6 is 1 by 6, right? So this is the one, right? So it is second point. And the third point is, for any sequence of events, for any sequence of events e1, e2 up to en that are mutually exclusive, union of that event should be summation of that events. Means we have talked earlier that suppose we are tossing a coin, so we are tossing a coin once, then probability of e1 should be that only head can appear. Okay, so e1 is suppose head only, so what is probability of e1? That is head. And probability of e2, suppose tail is appearing, then it is e2, suppose e2 is tail. They both are mutually exclusive. Actually, to understand mutually exclusive, you can understand better with this example. Suppose we are tossing a coin twicely, we are tossing a coin twicely, so what can be the sample space? Head head, tail head, tail tail, or it might be head tail, right? So suppose event 1 is there, which is head head is there and tail head is there, and event 2 is there, which is nothing but head tail is there and tail tail is there. Okay, now if we talk about e1 intersection e2, so they are mutually exclusive. Yes, they are mutually exclusive because head head, tail head, tail head tail and tail tail, in both these events no single element have similarity, right? If headed is also occur there, then we will say that they are not mutually exclusive, but there is no common element between these two events. That is why they are mutually exclusive, and we can represent it like that. So if any events are mutually exclusive, then it is nothing but summation of their probability. Means probability of e1, we can write it like e1, probability of e1 union probability of e2 equals to probability of e1 plus probability of e2 equals to probability of, what is probability of e1? Probability of head and probability of tail and head. So it's nothing but 2 by 4. Okay, and for PE2 it's also 2 by 4 because total total elements are 4 and 2 elements are there, right? So P intersection E1 plus P intersection E2, right? It's nothing but 2 by 4 plus 2 by 4, that is 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2. 2 by 4 plus 2 by 4, that is 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2. And after adding this it will become 1. And yeah, it is a basic problem that after adding all these events, their union, what their union will consist of. So you can also see it like their union, that is PE1 union PE2, will be consisted of head head, tail head, head tail, and tail tail. This will be the union of that, right? And this is the set, this is the rules. According to that, what is the rule? If any mutually events are there, then union of that is summation of that, right? So guys, this is the basics of probability, which I have explained to you. Further, in our next lecture, I will try to explain you the next important point. So please subscribe and stay tuned with us. Thank you so much.